Chapter 1. When a star falls, a soul goes up to God. Hans Christian Andersen, The Little Match Girl. Earlier that day. "So, how's the weather outside?" I asked. "Frightful?" "Far from it," said Tucker Burton, pulling a woolen stocking cap off his floppy brown mop. "There's not even a hint of snow." There was no hint of murder either. Not then. I was still hours away from finding that poor girl's bludgeoned body, and soon after Clare Cosi, would be the one to find her cold-blooded killer. At this hour, however, standing behind my coffeehouse counter, I wasn't thinking about murder weapons or contextual evidence. I didn't plan on interrogating a reality show diva, hoodwinking a New York hockey player, or butting heads with a conniving Cajun cook. And I certainly wasn't expecting to trump one of the biggest forensic freaks in the NYPD, or withstand one of the worst shocks of my early midlife. On this particular December afternoon, my chief concern wasn't murder. It was weather. My lanky assistant manager had entered the Village Blend with a blast of frosty air, but I found his tidings warmer than our crackling fireplace. No snow was good news. Not that Courier or Ives would agree. Personally, I loved the stuff. Growing up in a rundown factory town, I couldn't wait for the season's first snowfall. That sparkly blanket instantly beautified rickety buildings and cracked concrete. It even made the local mill's sooty smokestacks look more like the chimneys of Santa's workshop. Moving to New York, I learned to love snow for a different reason. Back then, I was barely 20, an art school dropout, adjusting to a new husband, new baby, and new way of life. My rhythms had been set by small-town living. Manhattan, on the other hand, was an island of beings on a continual series of seemingly dire quests. Rushing uptown and down, men and women glanced off one another with barely a grunt. Heaven's magic crystals calmed all that, quieting the traffic and culling the crowds. Snowfall forced a period of contemplation on a perpetually racing population. For going on 2 decades now, that peaceful oasis was what I tried to provide for my coffeehouse customers, no matter the weather. We were a cocoon of comfort on an island of chaos, and the hectic holiday season was the time of year people needed us most. At 3 weeks to Christmas, festive shopping bags and gift-wrapped boxes joined smartphones and laptops at our marble tables. Our tree was duly decorated, its piney branches scenting the air. Jazzy renditions of holiday classics drifted from our sound system, and flickering red-orange flames sent a glow of warmth from our exposed brick fireplace. Shoppers took a load off to sip an eggnog latte or nibble a candy cane frosted brownie. At last, their crazy, busy worlds had calmed down. Ironically, my own work schedule was ramping up to full throttle. Tonight, my baristas and I were in charge of the beverage service for the first of 3 exclusive parties in the Great New York Cookie Swap, an annual tradition that gave city bakers a showcase while raking in a Santa's sleigh of cash for charity. Unfortunately, many of tonight's well-heeled guests would be driving in from Tony suburbs, and the approaching snowstorm could kill the event. On the other hand, the blizzard might bypass us completely. The meteorologists, who sounded more like bookies than weather reporters, were currently giving us a 50% chance of dodging the snow bullet. My pop, who was an actual bookie, didn't like 50-50 odds, but the way I saw it, when latte mugs were half empty, they were also half full. "I haven't seen a flurry since last February," Tucker complained, "and the almanac predicts a dry winter. At this rate, New York's chance for a white Christmas is about on par with my chances of dating Channing Tatum." He swung a bright red sack off his narrow shoulders. "Not in this lifetime." "You already have a boyfriend," I pointed out. "And I'll take a white Christmas on December 25th, not tonight." Beyond our French doors, the December sky remained free of clouds, its cobalt hue as clear as my favorite cop's steady gaze.